lot of mistakes in my writing. I am not good at English. It's very hard for me to communicate or speak in English. How to improve the grammar real quick? I want to learn new words every day. Where can I find a channel that teaches simple English online? Hello everyone, my name is Hey and you can call me Steve. Welcome to Steve the Prodigy. In this channel, you will learn a lot from me. You will get new English video lessons alongside with the general knowledge video every week. And you can learn from a very simple explanation that will help you learn faster. More than that, you will gain new knowledge every week from this channel. Don't forget to subscribe in order to be part of the Prodigy. Hello everyone, welcome back to Steve the Prodigy. How are you today? I hope that you are doing well. Thank you for being here with me today. And in today's lessons, we are going to study about the adjective clause or relative clause. So what is adjective clause or relative clause? Adjective clause or relative clause is dependent clause. And I also have teaching video about what is dependent clause, what is clause, what is noun clause. And in case that you want to learn about all of them, you can check them out above here after you finish the lesson about the adjective clause. So in today's lessons, the lessons about the adjective clause, I would like to teach this lesson in detail. So I decided to divide it into different parts. So let's go and study about the content. Okay, so now let's focus on the content about what we are going to study in the lessons today about the adjective clause. So for number one, we are going to study about what is an adjective clause, what is relative pronoun. For the second point, we are going to focus on how to use those relative pronouns, whether when do we use it and how do we use it correctly. For the third point, we are going to study about how to use the adjective clause to modify pronoun. Move on to the fourth point, we are going to focus on how to use the expression of quantity in the adjective clause. And then for the fifth point, we are going to study about how to use noun plus of which. For the sixth point, we are going to study about how to use which to modify a whole sentence. For the seventh point, we are going to study in detail about the types of adjective clause and how to punctuate them correctly. This part is very important because it will help you a lot. And then the last point of our content is to study about how to reuse and change adjective clause to adjective phrase. Okay, let's move on and study our first lesson, which is about what is an adjective clause. For the introduction, I am going to review the lessons about what is clause and the types of clause. So what is a clause? Clause is a group of words or phrases. Clause contains a subject and a verb. Clause is divided into two types. The first type is IC or independent clause or main clause, which is a complete sentence. It contains the main subject and verb of a sentence. The other type of clause is DC or dependent clause, and it is not a complete sentence. It must be connected to an IC. Now let's proceed and learn about what is an adjective clause. So what is an adjective clause? Adjective clause or relative clause is a DC or dependent clause that modifies a noun. It describes identifies or gives further information about a noun. So here are the relative clause pronouns or adjective clause pronouns that I use to connect the DC to the IC. And they are who, whom, which, that, and whose. So now let's move on and study about the second point, which is about how to use the relative pronoun as the subject or as the object of a verb or as the object of a preposition. Example of relative pronoun used as the subject. Example A. She is the girl who or that loves me. So here are the original sentences. She is the girl, full stop. She loves me. So you can see that the relative pronoun who or that here replace the subject she in the second sentence. And when we combine the two sentences together by using the relative clause or relative pronoun to connect the relative clause to the independent clause, we can see that who or that here act as the subject of the second clause. Example B. Her phone, which or that is on the table, is expensive. So the original sentences are her phone is expensive, full stop, it is on the table, full stop. So which or that here replace the subject pronoun it. Here are some important notes. Who, that, and which are the subject of the adjective clause. Who is used for people, which is used for things, that is used for both people and things. And one last important note is an adjective clause closely follows the noun it modifies. For example, like example A, she is the girl who or that loves me. So we all know that who or that loves me is the adjective clause, and it closely follows the noun girl that it modifies. Just like example B, which or that is on the table is expensive is the adjective clause, and it is closely followed the noun it modifies, which is her phone. Okay, let's move on and study about how to use the relative pronoun as the object of a verb. So now let's take a look at some examples. Example C. She is the girl whom or that I love. So the reason that I crossed her out here because her is the object pronoun in the original sentence, and because we use the relative pronoun whom or that to replace the object pronoun already, you don't have to include the object pronoun her again. Or you can also write as an example D. She is the girl I love. Here are the original sentences. She is the girl full stop. I love her. Her is the object pronoun of the second sentence. I love her. So now we replace her with the relative pronoun whom or that act as the object of a verb. Let's move on and study example E. Her phone, which I buy, is expensive. Here are the original sentences. Her phone is expensive. I buy it. So it here is the object pronoun, and we replace it with which is the relative pronoun that acts as the object of a verb. Let's remember some important note. Whom is more formal than who. An object pronoun is often omitted from an adjective clause. A subject pronoun, however, may not be omitted. So let's take a look again at example D. She is the girl I love. So in this case, we omit the object pronoun, which is the relative pronoun that acts as the object of a verb. Now, let's move on and study about how to use relative pronoun as the object of a preposition. Here are some examples. Example F. She's the girl about whom I told you. Here are the original sentences. She is the girl, full stop, I told you about her, full stop. So in this case, we use the preposition before the relative pronoun whom. So about whom here means about her. Example G. Her phone for which I asked is expensive. Here the original sentence is her phone is expensive full stop. I asked for it. So for which here replace for it. If the preposition comes at the beginning of the adjective clause, only whom and which may be used. So now move on and study about how to use relative pronouns whose. Here are some examples. Letter H. I know the girl whose phone was stolen. Here are the original sentences. I know the girl full stop. Her phone was stolen. Whose here replace her phone. Example I. The girl whose writing I read write well. Here are the original sentences. The girl writes well, full stop. I read her writing. So whose writing here replace her writing. Letter J. The girl has a phone whose price is expensive. Here are the original sentences. The girl has a phone, its price is expensive. So whose price here replace its price. Here are some important notes. Whose is used to show possession or belongings. It is connected to a noun, same as possessive pronouns. It usually modifies people, and it may also be used to modify things as well, just like example J. Now, move on and study about how to use the relative pronoun where. Here are some examples. Letter H. The building where I live is very tall. The building in which I live is very tall. The building which or that I live in is very tall. The building I live in is very tall. Here are the original sentences. The building is very tall, full stop. I live there in the building, full stop. So where, in which or that, in, and na, in are the relative pronouns that we use to replace live there in the building. Here are some important notes. Where is used to modify a place. If where is used, a preposition is not included in the adjective clause, just like example H. If where is not used, the preposition must be included, just like example I, J, and K. Now, move on to study about how to use relative pronouns when. Here are some examples. Example H. I won't forget the day when I met you. I won't forget the day on which I met you. I won't forget the day that I met you. I won't forget the day I met you. Here are the original sentences. I won't forget the day I met you then on that day. So here are some important notes. When is used to modify a noun of time, year, day, time, century. A preposition is used preceding which, otherwise the preposition is omitted, just like example I. Okay, so now we continue to study about how to use the adjective clause to modify pronouns. This is our third main point in our lessons today. So adjective clause can modify indefinite pronouns. For example, like someone, everybody, or anybody. For example, A. There is someone I want you to meet. B. Everything she said was awesome. C. Anybody who wants to come is welcome. Adjective clause can modify the ones and those. For example, D. My girlfriend is the only one I love the most. E. The gifts are available for those who need them. Adjective clauses are almost never used to modify personal pronouns. For example, F. It is I who am responsible. G. He who laughs last laughs best. Okay, move on and study about our fourth main point about how to use expression of quality in adjective clauses. An adjective clause may contain an expression of quantity with of, some of, many of, most of, none of, two of, half of, both of, neither of, each of, all of, several of, a few of, little of, a number of, etc. For example, letter A. In my class, there are 20 students, most of whom are from Asia. Example B. She told me a lot of things, only a few of which were interesting. Example C. I talk about Jim, one of whose problems was cheating on his girlfriend. The expression of quantity precedes the pronoun. Only whom, which, and whose are used. So now move on to our fifth main point about using noun plus of which. An adjective clause may include a noun plus of which equal to whose. For example, A. We have an antique table, the top of which has jade inlay. We have an antique table, the top of it has jade inlay. Example B. I bought a new iPhone, the model of which is iPhone 11. I bought a new iPhone, the model of it is iPhone 11. Here is the sixth main point in our lessons today about how to use which to modify a whole sentence. The pronoun that and this can refer to the idea of a whole sentence which comes before it. Similarly, an adjective clause with which may modify the idea of a whole sentence. For example, A. Gosal was late, which surprised me. B. The elevator is out of order, which is too bad. This is the 7 points of the lessons today about types of adjective clause and how to punctuate correctly. So I want you to pay close attention to this part. So let's start. There are 2 types of adjective clause. The first type is essential or restrictive or identifying adjective clause. The second type is non-essential or non-restrictive or non-identifying adjective clause. Do not use comma for the first type because the adjective clause is necessary to identify the noun it modifies. For example, A. The girl who loves me is very adorable. So this is the first type of the adjective clause, which is restrictive adjective clause. Who loves me is very important, very necessary to identify the noun girl. You use comma for the second type because the adjective clause is not necessary to identify the noun it modifies and simply just give additional information only. So example B here, the P, who loves me is very adorable. So we all know the P here, and who loves me here, we put comma in between it because this is the second type of the adjective clause, the non-restrictive adjective clause. And who loves me, this adjective clause just give additional information about the P. You use comma if the adjective clause modifies a proper noun. For example, let us see. Phnom Penh, which consists of 12 districts, is the capital of Cambodia. D. We saw, whom I met yesterday, studies at AIS. If no comma are used, any possible pronoun may be used in the adjective clause. Object pronoun may be omitted. Example E. The girl whom I love is adorable. The girl that I love is adorable. The girl I love is adorable. When commas are necessary, the pronoun that may not be used. Only who, whom, which, whose, where, and when may be used. Object pronoun cannot be omitted. F. Mr. Stephen, whom I met yesterday, works at AIS. So now let's move on and study about how to reuse and change the adjective clause to the adjective phrase. What is an adjective phrase? Adjective phrase is a group of related words that does not contain a subject and a verb. Adjective phrase is a reduction of an adjective clause. It modifies a noun. Only adjective clauses that have a subject pronoun, who, which, or that are used to modifying adjective phrases. There are two ways in which an adjective clause is changed to an adjective phrase. Number one, if the adjective clause contains the be form of a verb, omit the pronoun and the be form. For example, A. The girl who is talking to me is from Korea. B. The book which is bought from the bookstore is new. C. Pierre is the man who is kind to everyone. So in this case, you omit who, which is the relative pronoun, and is, which is the be form of verb. So you change that sentence to the girl talking to me is from Korea. Example B. The book which is bought from the bookstore is new. So you omit the relative pronoun which and the be form of verb is. So it becomes the book bought from the bookstore is new. Letter C. Pierre is the man who is kind to everyone. So you omit the relative pronoun who and the be form of verb is. So it becomes Pierre is the man kind to everyone. Number two. If there is no be form of a verb in the adjective clause, it is sometimes possible to omit the subject pronoun and change the verb to its ing form. D. English has an alphabet that consists of 26 letters. E. Anyone who wants to come with us is welcome. So for letter D, you omit a relative pronoun that and you change the verb consist to consisting. So it becomes English has an alphabet consisting of 26 letters. Letter E. Anyone who wants to come with us is welcome. You omit the relative pronoun who and then you change the verb want to wanting. So it becomes anyone wanting to come with us is welcome. If the adjective clause requires commas, the adjective phrase also requires commas. A. Nimol, who is a smart student, submits the homework all the time. B. Nimol, a smart student after reuse, submits the homework all the time. Adjective phrases in which a noun follows another noun are called appositive. C. Siem Reap, the ancient city of Cambodia, is a very popular tourism site. If an adjective clause that contains be plus a single adjective is changed, the adjective is moved to its normal position in front of the noun it modifies. D. Fruit that is fresh tastes better than old fruit. E. Fresh fruit tastes better than old fruit. Thank you everyone for paying attention and trying your best to study in this video. I hope that you learned a lot. So here come to the end of the lessons about the adjective clause. In case that you want more English video lessons and general knowledge video alongside with the data visualization,
you can check it out in my channel by clicking subscribe here to get more useful video, very useful video. Thank you and goodbye.